What is up, RotoGrinders? Happy Friday. We have 2 hours of nonstop NBA DFS conversation starting right now. It's an 8-game slate. Pretty good number. 5 early, 3 late. It's basically a doubleheader. The last 3 starts at 10 o'clock on the East Coast. So you got to stay up late for that one, Chopper. We have revenge, potentially. First blood revenge for De'Aaron Fox. We have a plethora of cheap players. We have a full-fledged tankathon going on with Utah and Toronto. We got a little bit of everything. How are things in your world, Chop? Everything good? Oh, it's also a Film Friday. That'll get you excited.
Boom, boom. Film Friday. Film Friday, Dean. Yeah, this should be fun. We got lots of good basketball on tap here this weekend, tonight, and then this weekend. And yeah, should be. Kids are. This is it. Spring break going to kicks off now. Spring break for the kiddos, so should be fun, man.
Is that good or bad? Do we like that? Is there positives and negatives to that?
I'm pretty neutral these days. It used to be, you just go through these cycles as a parent. Back in the day, it was like, oh man, anytime they get off like a week or 2 weeks or the summer, you're like, no, they need to be in school, but. But they get to a certain point, and they're just like on their own anyway. Like they're just doing their own thing. They absolutely don't like if you don't bother them. Like you're begging them to bother you. Right? They don't want to bother you. So they want to be to themselves so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I don't want to be bothered, then I won't be bothered because nobody wants to bother me anyway. But so I'm pretty neutral on it. I don't know, but I got some projects for them. I'm gonna get them to get cranked up on over spring break,
like grouting or like mowing the lawn, like things like that kind of projects.
I got some interior painting I'd like to accomplish, and so I got two sets of hands right there that can help me out, the boys, and I've got some deep cleaning I'd like to do. So I gotta.
I'm sure they're thrilled to hear about this.
Well,
they know this.
Well, here's the thing, Dean. They're always going to come to you and go, I need some money. Can I get $5? Can I get $10? I want to play the video game. I want to do this. Can I get some? Well, here's your chance to earn a nice one. Here's your chance to earn some real cash, man. I'm not going to make you do it for free. I'll give you some real cash, but you're going to have to work for it. Let's see what they got in them. Let's see where the heart is, Dean. Let's see where their heart's at, man. How much heart they got.
2 things, Chop. First of all, $5 and $10 ain't getting them anywhere. So I imagine they're asking for more than that. And secondly, they're not going to the arcade.
The game, they get on the video, the PlayStations.
Oh, they got to buy the. Oh, I see.
It's like
skins.
Yeah, whatever. I don't even know how. I swear, Dean. I got one kid who, like, you can't give him money fast enough. Like it's gone within the game. Like I don't know what he buys in there. I don't know what it is. I guess you can get extra stuff to help you advance in the game. I don't know. Not into it these days. But he can't hold the cash fast enough. So we're going to see. We're going to see what they got inside of them. We're going to see if they got it. The big it. Do they got it? And can they accomplish some real man tasks?
I'm a terrible uncle. I introduced my nephews to Fortnite, and apparently it cost my brother. It's a free game to download, but then you got to add nonsense, like you said, to compete, and you got to get the cool skins and that kind of stuff too. So, and it's also probably they probably weren't age appropriate for it, but again. I was Uncle Buck, and I said, yeah, whatever. Let's go ahead and down this, and then I hit and run, and I was gone. I don't have to deal with the repercussions. Drop in the chat. Just went ahead and dropped the injury report. Jokic, it's kind of a big one. He's playing late. I assume he plays back half of the ESPN doubleheader. He's officially questionable. That matters, obviously. Tyler Hero is questionable too. He was ill last time out. I kind of assume he plays. The Portland guys, Grant and who's the other guy on Portland? Avdia, your guy, Denny Avdia, is questionable too. We did get a lot of clarity. OKC's ruled out anybody that's good mostly. And then Chet Holmgren's questionable, which seems weird. I don't understand if they're doing a half measures there, but they're basically punting that game off. It's not a tank. It's just that they're so far ahead in the standings that who cares if they lose. We talked about this before. Like it's all these teams. Cleveland's won the East already. Like not mathematically, but they won it. OKC is up by 10 on the Lakers. Shout out to the Lakers, by the way. That game last night versus New York, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, producer Steve not with us today. He probably would have some thoughts. Brunson, by the way, is officially ruled out. We kind of knew that last night. I pounced, Chop, when Brunson was still on the ground, and I bet the Clippers in the middle of the night. Got him at 4. So we got the closing line value, if nothing else. I was feeling bad for Brunson. Like, there's no way he's playing tomorrow night. He turned his negative, by the way. I assume he'll be fine at some point, but not playing basketball this evening. They're in the back half of a back-to-back. They're the only team on the back half of a back-to-back. There are 3 teams in the front end. That is Charlotte, Toronto, and Miami. Yeah, I did drop this, and actually TJ was showing it off as well on the screen, talking about the situation room. You have any big overarching thoughts? I have a take. Like, I always have takes, but I have a take that's like not chalky. I have like an against the grain take tonight. And it's kind of fun to have a take that's like against the field. We'll see how it plays out. We'll get to it soon enough. But what are your thoughts? How are you feeling about the slate tonight?
You can do what you want with it. I mean, you can like literally play what you want because of some of the value that's like you got an entire team that's out tonight practically. You're going to have all cheap players for Oklahoma City. There's just a lot of value. And then you've got this Jokic who projects for like I think 15 plus points better than the next closest guy. Like that's a big like I'm not a projections like get the microscope out and go
decimal points.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. But when a guy is 15 plus points better than everybody else, you got to take note. So and it's going to be a competitive game against Phoenix. I'm not saying they're great now, but they've kind of like maybe righted the ship a little bit just to be enough competitive to keep him in there. Like this, yeah, this thing it's kind of interesting. You can go a lot of routes with it, but I think the Jokic plus all that OKC value is the chalk way to go, and we'll see if that pays off. I don't know. I'm still debating it. But Dean, I'll tell you this much.
Yeah,
it's Friday night, and they threw in these late games, man, and they kind of had to. I get it. They kind of had to, but
if there was one, they would dump it. If there's 3, they're keeping it.
Well, they've been throwing in like a singular late game if it's only 6 or 7 games. Yeah. So it's like, but because of that and because it's movie night and all this other stuff, I'll play a little bit.
Picked out? You got a movie picked out tonight?
I think I'm going for that Kerry Calkin, the one he won the award for. I forget.
Okay, yeah, it's on Hulu. I watched it.
Okay, no spoilers, man.
I won't spoil it.
I watched it too. I might be movie night for me too. We're thinking about if we can find a babysitter heading out to Mickey 17.
Oh,
that's the director that did
Parasite. Yeah. New Boon Joon-ho movie. Robert Pattinson, crazy good cast. Looking forward to it.
Parasite, best movie of the last 10 years. I don't know. I don't know what's better than the last 10 years for me. For my money.
There's not much better than getting that babysitter and heading out to the movie by yourselves, man.
Is that the best?
When they're that age, yeah, that was good stuff. But anyway, what I was going to also say is because it's movie night for me and all, and they do those late games, I'm focused a lot more tonight on props, Dean. Like because then you can just set it and forget it, and you don't really have to worry too much about checking in 3 hours after lock and all that other stuff. So I got some props I'm going to kick off for us today too when we get to these games, and I don't know if you were ready for your trivia, Dean.
Oh no, you got Astros trivia for me again?
I had to get you one. The one from today is pretty whack. You'll get that in the first guess. So I had to go back earlier.
You don't want to give me the layups.
Earlier this week, I had to give you one that's a little bit tougher, but this first one you'll get. All right. Here we go, Dean. There's
no upside in this. There's no upside in this.
This is a layup. This is
the $100 like millionaire question.
Each season from 2007 to 2009, Carlos Lee. You remember Carlos Lee? Boy, he was
power hitter.
Yeah, he was a rock.
White Sox as well.
Had 100 plus RBIs for the Astros. No full-time Houston outfielder reached 100 RBIs in a season again until 2022. Who was it?
Is that Alvarez?
God dang it, Dean. That was the layup, sir.
Is he a DA? Is he not an outfielder? Is he 2023?
Kyle Tucker, man.
Oh, come on.
Come on, man. They're laying you up there, Dean, and you're missing it. God dang. Now, how you if you can't get the layup, how are you gonna get the one that's kind of weird?
Oh boy.
Who was the first pitcher to win Cy Young Award in both the AL and the NL?
Ooh, and it's Astro related.
No. This is just some rando question. I don't even know. I don't even know. It's got the Astros emblem and everything. It's tear off, but I don't think.
Yeah, it's
I don't
not
think
Nolan Ryan because he never.
I don't
won
think
a
this guy ever played for the Astros, but I could be wrong. I might be missing.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think you get this one. It's from the 70s.
I don't have a good guess.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You're going to like this one.
Necro? One of the Necros?
You're getting closer, but again.
I figured I got two. I got two guys, Phil and Joe.
you got closer. You're getting a little bit more in there, but it's Gaylord Perry.
Braves? I think I don't
72 and 78. I don't know. Doesn't say the team.
That wasn't coming to me. I wasn't going to get there.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. But we need our clue too, dude. Don't forget about the Film Friday clues, man.
Yeah, we got to get it all out there. We'll go ahead and start with the slates. With an hour and 40 minutes plus. You got a really, really brief OG reunion because I think it's Beer and Noto coming in as well as Roth in about an hour plus. We got plenty of time to still knock it out. The first clue for Film Friday. We're going to have TJ drop that in just a second. You tell me in the Discord channel what film I'm talking about. You get yourself a week free of RG Premium. The first clue is jump. You get one clue per clue drop. You cannot multi-enter. Discord channel. Those Discord channels are free. Most of them are free. The live stream chat channel, that's where you're putting your answer. That one is free. Jump is our first clue. Anything you want to say as far as big pictures? Just one game in the 7 o'clock window. And it's interesting. We'll talk about it. You kind of mentioned Joker, and we have the money for Joker, but it's kind of a conundrum because some of my favorite plays today are centers, as is the case often. And you can only play two on DK, only one on FanDuel, obviously. And yeah, it's not hard to get Joker, and his projection, like you said, is double digits higher than everybody else. And he's kind of got to do that because there's a lot of good plays along the way. There's on DK, especially, there's a really good center in this game, a fragile play, but a bad matchup. But we'll talk about it in a second. You got anything big picture-wise before we talk about Cleveland and the Hornets, the only 7 o'clock game on the East Coast?
Nah, that was my big picture take, was what I said earlier. So I guess we could just get to it while I spit off a guess here in the private chat.
Butto, he refuses. He wants to stay off the grid, even though he's on the grid in the YouTube. He will submit his answers in the YouTube. He got it the other day, but just like gave an assist because somebody must have took their answer. I don't want to assume that, but maybe they repackaged it and threw it in the Discord. But he's guessing that's my boy. That's the Adam Sandler, Andy. What's the other guy from SNL? The cop show, Sandberg. Yeah, I don't know why I lost his name for some reason. It's not That's My Boy, but that's a funny random guess. Chop, it is not Inception. It is not Inception. That is Chop's guess. Yeah, okay. So Cleveland and Charlotte. LaMelo officially probable. This, again, is the front half of a back-to-back for Charlotte, so probably tomorrow we get some goofy stuff. Like today, we're already getting Mark Williams out for foot. Maybe he'll play tomorrow. I don't know. Grant Williams, of course, out for the season. Smith is officially probable. Nurkic is in with his back. Maybe he sits tomorrow. Again, Charlotte kind of playing games the rest of the way. Ball's sort of been in and out. I assume he doesn't play tomorrow, but doesn't matter. DFS, we care about today and today only. Cleveland is fully healthy. They're fully healthy. They're fully locked into the one spot. The matchup is awesome, but they also have like one of the deepest benches in basketball. If you look at our minutes projection, it's adjusted to what they're doing now. They're not pushing their guys. 30 minutes for Mitchell, 30 for Garland, Mobley 29, Allen 27, a bunch of guys in the 20s. The matchup is good, but I think these prices have to go down a little bit. I don't really like Cleveland. Feel free to tell me otherwise. I need those extra minutes. I don't see them pushing. So despite it being a good matchup here against Charlotte, it's a pass for me. As far as Charlotte's, so Nurkic is 3.7 on DK. We're giving him 24 minutes. He averages over a fantasy point per minute. It's a bad matchup, potential blowout. but you're going to need his size. You're going to need his girth against Allen and Mobley on the other side. So I think Nurkic is a really good play. It's also a 7:00 game where I don't know if I want to lock that in right away. He's basically the only play for me in this game. I'm thinking about punting 7:00. If I don't, it's me playing Nurkic. Where are you at?
He's only 3,700, and I was kind of like in the same boat as far as DFS is concerned. Nurkic is the only guy in this game. Like, I have no interest in rostering anybody from Cleveland. Zero, nada, nothing for many different levels. Don't want anything to do with Cleveland DFS wise. And for Charlotte, Nurkic is the only one that may jump out because of the price tag and the opportunity tonight. So I'm with you on Nurkic. The rest of the guys don't interest me, but I do have a prop for this game, Dean. I do like to fade this, but I like to play the Jared Allen rebounds tonight. I think Jared Allen rebounding, I can get it at 9.5. I think that's a way to compensate for not rostering any Cleveland guys.
And you like the over when you're saying that, I assume.
Yeah, my bad. Over 9.5. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good matchup for him rebounding wise tonight.
How do you normally play those? Do you like to play 2s, 3s, 4s? You go full 5?
Honestly, it just varies. Like if they throw me you get all the promo things these days. What is it called? I don't know. A boost. You get if they throw me a boost, I'm gonna make it the heaviest, like 2-teamer or 3-teamer max with a boost, because they're kind of forcing me to do it. If I've got some stuff lined up, I'll go 6 deep. I don't care. And then if they give me like a free play, like this guy's prop is 0 points, or he's got to score 1 point, I usually stick to a 3-teamer. So it just all varies. But when they boost you, they're kind of forcing you. So I want to stick to like something I can really win, which is 2 or 3.
Okay, let's move on to 7:30. The first of the 7:30 games. Again, this slate is kind of broken up in half. First 5, back 3. Back 3 start at 10 o'clock on the East Coast. First 5 are within the first hour, 7 to 8 o'clock as far as official tip-off lock time. This is the tankathon I teased, right? The Jazz and the Raptors, 228 is the total. Raptors are 6-point favorites. I will run down who's currently in, who's currently out. Agbaji's not playing. Barrett's not playing. They're just resting Barrett. I think, is this a front end of back-to-back for Toronto? Are they in the list? Yes, this is a front end for Toronto. Boucher was officially in, but he's got a mouth. He's got teeth. He's got a lot of teeth, but one is really hurting. He's got a wisdom tooth, so he's not playing. Well, he's officially doubtful. He was going to be awesome. We're projecting really well earlier, but he's officially doubtful. Brandon Ingram probably not playing this year. Mogbo he's got a nose, so he can't play. They got to rest Jakob Poeltl because the tank is fully on. Dick, your guy Dick, he's got a bone bruise, so he's not playing. Looks like they're down to 10, and amongst those 10 is Jared Rhoden, Colin Castleton, who I don't think is in the pool. Garrett Temple, remember Garrett Temple? Keep cashing those checks, Garrett Temple. Good for you. And as far as the Jazz, well, the Jazz are playing games too. Officially, Keontae George is questionable with an illness. They have Markkanen, who's still out with that back. Shibble is out. He's in the G League. Clarkson's got a plantar fasciitis. John Collins, they gave him a back as well. So, yeah, man, what an absolute disaster. Kessler is playing, though. Kessler is in. Also, Kessler's in, so we're expecting Filipowski to go to the bench. But, I'll ask you your take, because I this is the game I have a take in. And, win or lose, we'll see how it goes. But I'm curious your thoughts.
Wow. You're teasing your
I want you to go first, and then I'll maybe.
Now if I'm going to feel bad if I'm completely against you, and you've got a really strong take there. Like for the Utah side, I looked at the prices and I was like, oh man, like these guys are all kind of priced up now that they've been performing real well lately with the injuries, and so the price tag's jumping. It almost makes these guys for me unplayable. I haven't highlighted anybody for the Utah side that I really like. On the Toronto side, Scotty Barnes is pretty reasonably priced, and all these guys, a lot of guys are missing for Toronto, so Barnes jumps out to me. Emmanuel Quickly. I do not mind Emmanuel Quickly at all. I was eyeballing the Quickly 3-pointers, but then I saw it was 3.5. That's a pretty big number. I don't know that I want to invest in him at 4. He's got to hit 4 of them, but Utah's not a good 3-point. They don't defend the 3-point line very well. So I like Quickly in DFS. And then there's this guy named Orlando Robinson, and he's only 3,500. He's going to project well, and they're both tanking. So I would imagine he probably gets a little run tonight. So I kind of like him, but that's where I'm at with it. Now, I want to hear your strong take here.
Yeah. Well, the absence of Boucher. Now that's why Robinson projects really well, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm not sure if I'm going to lock in Nurkic. We talked about before on the season. By the way, Robinson for Toronto on FanDuel, he's averaging 0.85 fantasy points per minute, 16% usage. It's not great. For a center, that's pretty bad too, but I think he gets a fair bit of run. So my take is just sort of playing off of what happened last game. What happened last game, I was watching the game. Toronto ended up winning the game accidentally against Orlando. Wendell Carter actually almost scored at the last second. He did score, I think, but the buzzer went out, or maybe he just stopped. He basically had to rebound the ball in his hands, and the buzzer went off, and there's nobody on him. Just sort of bad timing. But if you look what Toronto was doing, it was blatantly obvious that they were tanking, like essentially announcing it. Scotty Barnes didn't play the last 8 minutes of the game because it was a close game. Pirtle didn't play the last 8 minutes of the game. Quickly didn't play the last 10 minutes of the game. They closed with Walter, Lawson, Shed, Robinson, Roden, and Mogbo. That was their closing lineup. And again, it's like a 5-point game, 4-point game, 1-point game. They were actively trying to lose. Now, the guys were out there, they're playing. They're trying to play the best basketball they can. But Toronto, the organization, is well aware they want to lose. They want to lose as much as possible. And Toronto is in the 5 spot right now as far as the tankathon. They've accidentally won 2 games in a row. They have they're a game in front of Brooklyn, a game in front of Philly, and Philly's going to be tough the rest of the way. They might not win. They're doing their damnedest to not play basketball and then win games. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just saying if this game is close late, I'm very much speculating that we might see again Toronto resting their top guys. So, and the other point of it is, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal, these guys weren't projecting well, but Utah's the worst defense in all basketball. Toronto is thin. They're down to 10, and it's barely 10. Quickly's at 41% ownership. Barnes is at 38% ownership. I'm just not going to play those guys in my main lineups, and just in the hopes. And again, they might play 35 minutes and absolutely smash Utah, and if I lose, so be it. We'll move on to tomorrow. I also play the single entry stuff, and those kind of guys get pumped up. They're going to be 50 or 60% on in those contests. And if it happens to work out where I'm right, it's like you don't have to be right all the time, but what happens when you are right? How do you take advantage of it? TJ, you see you're jumping in here. This is your team. You like my assessment or thought process?
I don't hate the thought process. I think it's really interesting to go one way or the other. And I'm fiddling with the idea of saying only play Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickly together in lineups. Either don't play them at all or play them both in the same lineup with the thought process that the Raptors will either give them proper minutes or game stays close. They're going off. The starters are going off, or they just decide, hey, we're going to play these guys 28 minutes and then I don't want them at chalk, and I'm going to make sure I have at least 2 Raptors, but maybe I just don't play those guys at all in certain lineups and play them together in others.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't mind that thought process. And the thing is, like, Toronto could be up 10 or 15, and there's really no way they can prevent, short of like scoring on their own basket, from winning the game. That they're not going to do that, obviously. Who was the guy that famously did that? Scored a shot on his own basket to get a triple-double? Was it Ricky Davis? Is that who it was?
Ricky Davis.
Yeah, shout out to Ricky Davis. Amazing stuff. Nobody's ever done that before or since. So this could backfire. And again, the matchup is awesome, and they're super thin. It's a great perfect storm. It's just we're projecting 33 for Barnes, 31 for Quickly, and maybe I think there's a chance they lose like 6 or 7 of those minutes. And conversely, somebody's got to play. I'm going to be playing some Walter. I'm going to be playing some Robinson. I'm going to be playing some AJ Lawson. Still minimum 3K AJ Lawson. We're projecting him for 26 minutes. He projects fine right now. He would project great on a different slate, just we have a ton of value. But he can be even better. So that's my plan of attack. as far as my main lineup. I might have like one hedge, but as of right now, that's the plan, Chop. We'll see how it works out. And as far as Utah, the Jazz, nobody projects in double digits tonight. I thought Kessler was kind of interesting, but again, they're also well aware that they're trying to lose this game too. And Kessler is one of their better players. I'm kind of surprised he's even playing just because they've been playing all these games, but everybody else essentially is ruled out. And George is also questionable too. Do we have an if-then set up? If George sits, like who all of a sudden would – I mean, Collier can only play so many minutes anyway. I think they pushed down Sexton's minutes. I don't know if there's anybody that would like dramatically benefit unless I'm missing something. Springer, I don't think you're playing him, but any thoughts here? They're asking about Castleton in chat. I don't think he's in the pool, and maybe that means they can't put him in lineup HQ, but he probably plays some minutes. So I would add it up and see if it actually totals up to 48 times 5. Was it 240 as far as the minutes? But I assume Castleton's going to play because they're down to 10. And, some of those names and the, Temple, Roden, Jameson Battle.
What do you think Roden's deal is? Because I'm looking at lineup HQ and it says he's projected for 22 minutes, but only 3 fantasy points. Do you think that's supposed to be 3 fantasy points on fewer minutes, or 22 minutes and more fantasy points than that?
That is a good question. That's got to be wrong, right? So Roden on the season, and it's a very, very small sample, in 21 minutes, has a 11% usage and 0.39 fantasy points per minute. Like, he has to be better than that.
It's a mistake. He was 15 points earlier.
Okay, yeah.
Just some kind of accounting error. Jamino's taking a nap right now, by the way, so he can't correct it. But so I mean, I like your assessment, Dean. To play devil's advocate, here's what could happen though. Both teams are so bad that Barnes and Quickly could get there like in 28 minutes. They could like blow up because the prices aren't that great. So you got that. And number 2, Dean, I'd also like to say there's almost nobody more tuned in to the Houston sports scene than me. How come I can't get on one of these local podcasts with the Cougars or the Rockets or something? These people, they don't put me on their local podcast.
They don't know job. They don't know who you are.
I know, man. Like, I'm here. I'm ready, guys. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not.
You
just
dropped Paul Wall's name. Did you tell me you know Paul Wall?
I'm not just some goofy fan that's telling you, oh shit, Altuve can't move to the outfield. He's a second baseman. No, I know Altuve needs to move to the outfield. Like, I'm in tune here, man.
Is he going to left field? Is that they're sending him at left field?
Yes, he's going to left field. But like, get me on a podcast. Somebody, please reach out to me, man. I'm ready for it. And Dean,
you want to talk Astros, Cougars, or everything? What do you want to talk?
Astros, Rockets, Cougars. I'm in tune with all of it.
Texans?
No, I'm a Cowboys fan. So, yeah. But that's a full space right there. That's a whole nother deal.
Yeah,
those guys want to re-sign Ezekiel Elliott. I can't even comprehend. Like, I can't even mess with those guys on the Cowboys podcast.
No, nobody really believes that, right? Is that they want to re-sign?
Some people just aren't knowledgeable, but that's a whole nother thing, Dean. But
they just can't let go.
We need another clue, man, because I've been sitting on Jump now for about 30 minutes, and I
didn't get a chance to look and see if anybody actually guessed it correctly. Somebody did go 21 Jump Street. Jay Swift said Fall Guy. That's funny because that's what TJ guessed. And TJ had all 5 clues. Magic Mike was guessed. Black Panther was guessed. Chariots of Fire. Palm Springs. That's another Andy Samberg vehicle. Okay, let's go ahead and drop that second clue for the people. Again, jump in the Discord. Tell me what movie I'm talking about, what film we're talking about. Jump is the first clue. Hit is the second clue. The people in chat were talking about the Mortal Kombat being the best arcade game. If you are of a certain age, Chop, you remember Mortal Kombat in the arcade? It was a massive machine. You had to actually punch the buttons. Do you remember this? You know what I'm talking about? I think it was Mortal Kombat.
I remember arcades, period. What a great time in your life. And the kids today don't know anything about that. They'll never know anything about that probably. Boy, the arcade was so good, man.
I used to work at
one of my like formative happiest memories as a kid. was going to this one arcade we have in Saskatoon, and it's still there. It's called Ruckers. It's attached to the Fuddruckers. But I remember like the store manager was working, and we hit some like crazy mega jackpot, and he was like, "This is actually, I think, the most tickets anyone's ever won in one sitting before." And I just thought I was like so cool that I broke the arcade. Like I did it. I got all the tickets, and I just felt like it was one of like the happiest little kid moments that I had.
We when I was in Denver, the right around the stadium for Coors Field, maybe walked to it. I can't remember, but they have like an old school, like nostalgic arcade / bar. I think those are kind of popping up a little bit. It was called the One Up Arcade Bar, I believe. So I remember visiting that, and we happened to see Shaman Ayat hanging out at the bar. It's just sort of random, and he pitched that night. But yeah, just getting a flashback there, hanging out in a baseball season right around the corner, just about 3 weeks away or so. One of my first jobs at a college shop. You remember GameWorks? They weren't all over the country, but there were several. There was one on the Vegas Strip. I was a waiter and a party host at GameWorks, and one of the perks you would get free cards, and you could play whenever you want. So there you go. All right, let's move on. Enough nostalgia. Tell me in chat your favorite arcade game. Tell me that. I see people are already throwing it out there. Favorite arcade game. They're talking about Tekken. Chop, your guess of Kill Bill is not correct. The Simpsons arcade game was spectacular. But I was saying that was a lot of fun, actually. All right, let's move on. Memphis taking on Dallas, 239.5. That is the total. That's a big boy total for sure. It's a 10-point line. The Grizz are favored. Who's in? Who's out for this one? But we know Dallas is just kind of a disaster these days as far as the injuries. Well, just a disaster. Davis is still out. Gafford's out. They gave an update. They're probably not. Who knows? No time soon. Hardy's out. Kyrie, of course, out for the season, probably next season as well. Kai Jones is out. So all their height is gone. But Caleb Martin is likely to start today. I shouldn't say start. He maybe starts. I don't know. But the last thing I saw is that he's likely to make his debut for Dallas. So yeah, if he plays, assuming he plays, we would be down to, I guess, 9, up to 9, with Dinwiddie, Christie, Clay, Najee, Powell starting at center, Exum, Caleb Martin, Kessler Edwards, and then Brandon Williams, who had a pretty good game last time out as a 3K cheapie. He got boosted up. As far as Memphis, who's in and out for Memphis, it's Santi Aldama, who's questionable. I feel like he might play. He's questionable. Triple J, of course, out still. And John Conchar is questionable. How do we feel about the Mavs here, Chop? You're going to get some run, and prices are adjusting. Marshall's going to play a fair bit. Dinwiddie as well. Christie as well. Fastest pace here against Memphis. And, of course, Memphis without their best defensive player in Triple J. Your assessment of the Grizz and the Mavericks.
Well, Dean, has any team gone from like perennially solid for the next 10 years to absolutely blowing the whole thing up faster than the Mavs did? I've never seen a team go that from pretty good, contending for a while for a pretty bright future to zero to nothing like that fast. Never seen that one happen before, but shout out to...
Not to cut you off, Chop, but like I was listening to a podcast and it's a great question, and I don't know if you get a definitive answer. How much money have they lost as an organization, as a company? Like you could argue, I think you could argue that they might have cost themselves $1 billion. Like it all said and done, when everything is all said and done, the value of the Mavericks might have dipped like $1 billion, which is bonkers. Yeah,
crazy,
tough scene, really, really tough scene.
But
tonight,
as far as DFS tonight, let's start off with the Memphis side. I mean, they're gonna, Dallas is just not competitive anymore, and so I had highlighted Bane. It's just a matter of this game staying relatively close. But either Bane or Morant is good price tags and is gonna have their way with this Dallas defense. It's just a matter of which one I prefer. I think I prefer the Bane jump shooting tonight rather than Morant trying to get to the rim, or depending on his jump shot, which is not, sometimes can be really bad. So I'll go Bane. I could see a path for Edey too, I could see him getting run off the court, but I could also see him putting up 35 DK points for $4,800.
I bet his ladder, Chop. Because I think there's a chance. There's a chance, like you said, I think there's a chance he gets run off the court. He's just too big. He's got what, 7 inches, essentially the next biggest guy. Or and like I don't know how much Powell can play, but after Powell, they don't really have us. I guess Kessler Edwards is, what is he, 6'9" or something. So there's a scenario I think where Edie gets like 15, 16 rebounds. Also a scenario where, like you said, doesn't really fit this game, and you never really know how that goes. He tends to beat up on bad teams and just not be good against good teams. I know it sounds oversimplified, but that's if you look at his box score stuff, that's when he has his best games. I don't know if I'm getting there in tournaments, but you can. Again, there's so many centers.
And the blowout factor is real in this. It's really real in this game. And if it is a blowout, Aldama probably won't be. It'll probably be Edie over Aldama later on. I would imagine Aldama's like questionable, so I don't know that they want to push him too much. But I don't know. You may have an out right there, and so
they have Bagley and Huff. I don't know if those guys. I mean, yeah, Huff will make a little bit of run if this game fully blows out. Brandon Clark's there too, so they have options. Memphis is like too big for them. These teams don't really match up, right? Edie, Clark, Huff, Bagley. Not that Bagley's expected to play anything. Your take as far as Dallas, like there's going to be a lot of minutes.
It's the interesting team right here because there is a lot of minutes to go, a lot of shot attempts up for grabs tonight, and some guys just don't like. I'm not worried about Exum taking those shot attempts, so I'm looking at these other guys. Najee Marshall's projecting well. None of these guys are very expensive, so that's what makes them really intriguing. I don't love them, but the price tags are low enough to where like a Najee Marshall, who's been crushing lately, could definitely get there against Memphis, who's not this great juggernaut defensive team. Max Christie doesn't project nearly as well, but I kind of like Christie tonight for his outside shooting. And it's Klay Thompson. I don't want to play Klay Thompson. I don't like it. He's washed. He doesn't got, so I'm not going to play him in DFS.
What's his ceiling? He's got to score 30, 35 points, right?
He can do nothing except for maybe hit some three-pointers these days. So I like the 3-point prop for him. But otherwise,
what's the number?
Man, it's 3.5, but that's all he's got. That's all he can do against Memphis.
Yeah.
And he kind of fits the mold against them to where he can go anywhere on the court and hit 3-pointers. He likes to shoot them from the corners, and they're susceptible out there. So maybe he has a shot at his 4. I'd rather play the 3.5 over 3.5 3-point prop rather than the DFS thing. But then again, you watch some of his highlights these days, and he's bouncing them off the side of the backboard from the corner. Man, it's pretty rough. But
officially, RG projections is a median projection, 4.07 threes for Klay. So,
okay, so we're in good shape there. The numbers back it up. But also, somebody points something in chat just triggered me, Dean. I do not just the arcade, but there used to be this back in the day. There were 7-Elevens. I don't even know if they have them anymore because everything now is these big gas stations. Like this 7-Eleven, and I could walk about a mile to this 7-Eleven. And back then, you could walk down the street on your own. You didn't have to worry about no white van coming and kidnapping you and all this, no child trafficking or nothing like that. So I walked down to 7-Eleven, and in the little side open side room, they had like 3 arcade games. Wasn't a full-blown arcade, but they had, and we used to play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out all day long until we finally, and then Donkey Kong was a great one. Like, sure. Oh man, bringing back memories. Not a full-blown arcade like the mall, but just that little side room at 7-Eleven was the bomb.
Donkey Kong got some love there in the chat. Galaga was it Galaga or Galaga? I think it was called Galaga, right?
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah. Duck Hunt. I thought Duck Hunt was mostly just Nintendo at home. Was that actually an arcade game? I don't recall.
Yeah, that was an arcade game. Anytime you could pick up a little toy gun in the arcade and shoot it, and those are always awesome.
Altered Beast. I think that was another Genesis game. I guess that was in the arcade too. I think that was the arcade game. Okay. Anything else you want to focus on as far as Memphis and Dallas, or shall we scoot along?
We're gonna scoot along. I don't know if you're gonna do another clue yet.
You do that.
But also, while you drop the clue, I'd also like to point out, how the heck did Stephen A. Smith get $100 million from ESPN? What are they doing over there? My goodness, who's balancing that budget, man? That's got to be money laundering, Dean. It's just got to be. How is that guy worth?
However you feel about Stephen A. Smith,
and I can't get a podcast on the Houston Cougars. What in the world, man?
Well, you can get one. You can start one tomorrow. Like literally, it's not that. There's no the barrier to entry is not that hard. Now, will people listen or know it exists? I don't know. But you could have a podcast tomorrow if you want a podcast tomorrow. Like he's good at his brand, and however you feel with that kind of entertainment, he's good at it. He's probably the best at it. Good at getting clicks, good at getting people talking. I know there was a whole thing about him and LeBron. Apparently, like LeBron talked to him about. I guess Stephen A. was talking bad about his kid, I assume. But that apparently was a thing. He's very good at what he does. Whether you think it's good content or bad content, it gets clicks, and I think he's valuable. For better or for worse. Clicks are a thing. Clicks are a commodity. All right. Let's move on. Let's get the third clue. Yeah, nobody's guessed it just yet. We can do that. It is not Django or Rounders or Mallrats or dodgeball or basketball, which is a good shout out to basketball. The third clue is Y. Jump, hit, Y. Those are our three clues. All right. Jump in the Discord. Tell me what we were talking about, and we can give out a week free of RG Premium. Let's scoot along to another game that starts in the early window, 8 o'clock to be precise. Minnesota, the T-Wolves, they're in Miami. 215.5 is the total. Miami's a 5-point dog here. I think this is a catch-me-up game. You can feel free to tell me otherwise. I'll tell you who's in. I'll tell you who's out. We may see Rudy Gobert. He's officially questionable tonight. Wait, is he off the injury report? Did he get adjusted? Did I miss something? Is he in now? Chop, do you know this about Gobert? Because I don't see him on the. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at the Utah Jazz. My brain went to like 3 years ago.
He's projected.
Okay, but yeah, I think he's still officially. I'm staring at the Jazz injury report. Yeah, he's still officially questionable. That's right. Okay, on Minnesota. The only player in Minnesota who's questionable. Alec Burks is questionable for Miami. Bam is officially available with his calf. We don't know about Tyler Hero. He's got a head cold. I assume he plays. But we'll see. Jaime Jaquez is questionable. He's got an ankle. I assume he banged the drum last night. And was it last night for the Panthers? I think it was the Panthers last night. But shout out to the Panthers. They're going for it. They're going for it again. We're picking up players. Chop, I know you're excited about the Panthers. But Marshawn.
Who'd they get? I heard something, but I wouldn't pay.
They're taking the soul of the Boston Bruins, man. They've knocked them out of the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. Now they're taking the heart and soul of the Bruins the last 15 years or so, 20 years. Marshawn's now on the Panthers. Kachuk is out for the regular season, probably comes back during the playoffs. But the people in chat are people in chat. The Boston fans are not taking it well. Tim, Tim is a Boston fan, and he texted me, and he's not pleased. Bruins fans are not. They're not in a good space right now because the Panthers are they're basically forcing them to rebuild because the Panthers are too good. All right. Oh, they also got Seth Jones, Popeye Jones' kid, the defenseman, a couple days ago, a week ago or so. So yeah, things are looking up. I think they're the favorite now to win the cup, which is super hard. Obviously, ones can lose to eights in hockey, and it's not like some kind of crazy upset necessarily. Let's talk about Minnesota, Miami. Yeah, do we like anybody here? How do you feel about the T-Wolves and the Heat? I don't love this game.
No, I have nobody highlighted from this game for any purposes. DFS, props, nothing. I just don't like it. Like Bam's 9,200. I don't want to go that route. Yeah, I just don't like the Miami side. And Minnesota's relatively healthy, and Ant-Man is 94. That's these team totals for these two teams aren't like very, very high for today's NBA. Yeah, it just doesn't. You say catch me up game. I just don't like it. Period. So yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, as of right now, the only player getting meaningful ownership. We have Randall for 8%. Edwards, you mentioned at 5 or 6 on DK. Bam around 4. We did see Bam absolutely smash against Cleveland when the game where Hero was out. So, again, more usage will go his way if Hero happens to step aside. Rozier played a bunch of minutes in that game too. He's been like one of the worst players in basketball this season. Yeah, but I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot in this game. I'm almost definitely just crossing it out. The last game in the early window, if you will, if we're treating this like an NFL Sunday, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, early window, Portland and OKC, 229 is a total. This is a tricky one, Chop. So OKC is just a 3-point favorite because they are resting a bunch of guys. I think they gave him fake injuries, right? Oh, SGA, they gave him rest. Dort, they gave him patellofemoral? I don't know. They gave him something. Soreness. He's out. Both those guys are out. Hartenstein still dealing with that nose, so he's not playing basketball. Kason Wallace has a knee, so he's not playing. And then Jalen Williams, the good Jalen Williams, is out with a wrist. So basically every single starter is out for them. Oh, I should say that Chet Holmgren, which is kind of weird, they didn't rule him out. He's questionable with a leg. So I don't think he plays, but maybe he does. If he plays, does he play like full minutes? Because then he'd be like a really good play. But I don't know. It's just kind of odd. As of right now, it looks like we have, well, they called some dudes up in their G League. So OKC they have players. Let's see my quick math. I think it's 12. Yeah, we're projecting Caruso to start with Isaiah Joe, Wiggins, Holmgren, and again, he might get ruled out. I don't want to say the bad Jalen Williams, but the one that's not as good. Kenrich Williams, Osman Dang, and then like Adam Flagler, Nikola Topic, Dylan Jones, Alex Dukas, and Brandon Carlson. As far as Portland, these guys are all cheap too. Portland, pretty good defensive team. Kamara, really good individual defender. We always talk about him. Avdi is questionable with his quad. We saw him. He tried to come back and play the other day. Didn't work out for him. He had to tap out. Jeremy Grant, just, he's questionable. I feel like he hasn't played in a while either. Of course, Ayton, he's out. Who knows when he plays again, probably next year. And Robert Williams is out with his knee. OKC, their defense is not as good as they, they're going to be tonight, as they have been historically, because they're without a bunch of their defenders. But yeah, there should be some value here for the Thunder. Your thoughts with the Thunder and the Blazers?
Well, Dean, you just kind of said, and Javier said it in chat also, which was the big point that I was going to make. You can throw that OKC defensive efficiency out the window because these are a lot of new guys, a lot of different guys. So I think they could be a little bit vulnerable tonight. So I like Simons a little bit here at 6,900 and coming off some good games, and I think he could deliver some things under 7K, man. I kind of like Anthony Simons. Shaden Sharp is all right, but he's more hit or miss. Denny Avdija, I think you kind of pointed to him.
I don't think he's playing, but we'll see.
Yeah, injury risk, and so and Klingon is on and off the court. Who knows what he's going to do on a nightly basis? Like Simons is the guy that's most consistent to me. That's the guy I'd like to attack this game with is Anthony Simons. I think he's going to make for a great GPP play. But the Oklahoma City side, we'll see who's in there, who's starting in that lineup. But just grab some value, man. Just, not Caruso. I wouldn't grab Caruso. I wouldn't play Lou Dort if Lou Dort is active. But
Wiggins is the most popular guy right now.
Chet Holmgren, I'm on the fence. Like, if they're just going to punt this game, I don't know how much Holmgren. But then again, if he's out there and he plays 25 minutes, like, he'll take every shot while he's on the court. He'll shoot every possession. He'll take a shot. Like, there's nobody else to contest him for shot attempts. Maybe he crushes in limited minutes tonight with nobody else out there. But yeah, Wiggins is popular. You can go that route. I prefer Isaiah Joe. The other Jalen Williams, the J with a Y or I, whatever. He's
a center only. That's the tricky part.
Not just that. He's just super, super, super low floor. I don't care, who's out there or who's out for the go. Okay, so he just has a low floor too. So that's kind of not where I'm at. So yeah, I mean, if you want to play to chalk Wiggins, he's fine. I prefer Isaiah Joe for half the ownership, and he's gonna get a Chet in GPPs, and this is just a good game to look and see how much money you have left over at the end of your builds and grab a value piece or two.
What if Chet is ruled out? Does that make Jalen a little bit better for you?
Yeah.
Dang would get a bump too?
Yeah, for sure. Chet will take, 30. I mean, let's say he plays 30 minutes. Yeah, he'll take 30 minutes and give it to those other guys. And then like I said, I think if Chet plays, he's easily leads this team in field goal attempts at the end of the night. So you divvy that up too between several guys on that team. So Yeah, if Chet is out, it's a whole different story. Actually, all these guys are like, I'd set a rule, but you could play 4 of these guys if Chet's out.
On the season, Jalen Williams, 1.08 FanDuel points per minute. Isaiah Joe, 0.83. Better on DK, gets that 3-point bonus. I did want to pull up and see what Usman Dang, 0.87 on FanDuel. Kenrich, 0.92. The other interesting thing is, again, like plenty of value, right? We're only projecting one player to play in the 30s. Wiggins at 31. Again, they have a lot of guys. Joe, 28. Chet, 28, which might go away. Jalen, 26. He would get a bump. Dang, we're at 22. I would imagine he would jump up to close to 30, I guess, if we happen to lose Chet. But, we're giving minutes like the Flagler and Carlson in the teens, and not necessarily to the point where you want to play them, but enough where they're eating off others. Dylan Jones, 22 minutes. Yeah. All right. Anything else we should focus on as far as Portland and the Thunder, or shall we scoot along?
Moving on down the road.
All right. Chop, your third guess. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is not correct.
I knew it wasn't. But
did you like that movie?
Oh man, that's a good question.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I'm kind of on the fence on that one. I mean, I watched it and I'm on the fence.
TJ's got a take.
It's one of the best movies of the last decade.
Wow, that's a hot one.
Parasite versus Everything Everywhere All at Once. Parasite.
For me, Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I'm not necessarily saying it's better.
I appreciate its ambition. It just didn't work for me. I respect that they tried something different and it was ambitious, but just didn't work. Dante X, I'm officially in, by the way.
We had a winner for a while in Discord, by the way.
But you're not going to alert me with this? Somebody
right after the third guess. I didn't want to interrupt you guys.
Oh, well, you've interrupted 4 times to talk about movies.
Well, yeah, but now it felt like the right time to do it now. I was waiting for the basketball conversation to end, the movies to come back up so I could interject.
Again, I'm going to point out, we were rolling along there, and we were guessing and we were having fun with it. And we could have just kept the information to ourselves that somebody's a winner. We could have just kept that to ourselves, TJ. And then at the end of the show, we could have announced, and we had a winner. And the first one to guess it was way back at 3:33.
You still don't know who it is. You can keep guessing.
Yeah, but we know there is a winner, so people can scroll back through there. But I'm all for not announcing a winner until the very end of the show. Find the guy who did it first, write his name down, come back to it. But that's just me. I'm just out there. But
shout out to T Carter. T Carter, get yourself a week free of RG Premium. The fourth, we'll play it out. We'll play it out, Chop. The fourth clue is Axel.
Whoa. I know
AXEL, if you're asking for a spelling.
Say it again. AXEL?
Yeah, AXEL.
Yeah, I know it ain't Beverly Hills Cop. That'd be too obvious.
It's not Axel Foley. That's it's not a Beverly Hills Cop reference. That would be way too on the nose. All right. Yeah, we did have a winner. You guys can play it out, have some fun there on YouTube, although maybe somebody might have spoiled it in YouTube as well. One of my favorite games on the board. Oh, that's it, by the way, for the early games. Now the back three. The back three, I love this environment. The Spurs, the Kings, 234 is a total. The Kings are 7-point favorites. We have a team in the Kings that are still trying, and they're injured, and they're playing their guys a pile of minutes. They're taking on a Spurs team that is bottom 8 in defense on the season, and they're even worse with the absence of Wemby. And again, they're missing 2 key pieces. Monk is still out for Sacramento. Sabonis is still out for Sacramento. I was going through the rates of Sabonis and Jonas Valanciunas. Somebody mentioned in chat earlier, J-Val's the best center in the slate, and he might be. I love J-Val. I think he's still not projecting correctly. Basically the same fantasy points per minute, actually more on FanDuel, smaller sample with him playing so far for the Kings in the absence of same exact fantasy points per minute as Sabonis. Better rebounding rate. Of course, the assist rate not as good. The minutes also not as good. He's not playing 40 minutes or so, but he can play 31, 32. And who's he going to go up against? Bismack Biyombo? Come on. And Jeremy Sohan? They're gonna dust off Mamashishvili? No, he's bigger than all these dudes. And he's been awesome so far. I love Joe Val tonight. Again, it's what makes it tricky as far as the centers, but he's going to land on probably my main lineup. We'll see. I don't like to speak in definitives on that, but I love this game all around. DeMar DeRozan, the minutes he's played 40 minutes in 2 of the last 3 games, Sacramento is a team that like cares about the regular season. They're still jockeying for position as far as the play-in nonsense. I think they're 7 or 8 or 9 right now. They're on the outside looking in. That's just how it is. Like the 4 teams are all kind of similar. Levine looks good. Keon Ellis is a cheapie, looks good. And on the other side, we got DeRozan revenge, right? It's not first blood. We got first blood, Chop. First blood revenge for De'Aaron Fox. Do you like this game as much as I do? I especially like the Kings. You couldn't tell.
Well, Dean, I've got like 5 guys highlighted from this game for some props tonight. So I guess, and I didn't do it on purpose. I just I started looking at the numbers and things pop off, and so yeah, I guess I do like it. Subconsciously, I like it. I'm with you on the things you said, Joe Val and all that. De'Aaron Fox, revenge, all that. I love it. De'Aaron Fox. So 3-pointers, De'Aaron Fox, 2.5. Love the over on that one. Love him in DFS too. Are
you a prop donkey, Chop? Are you only betting overs? You know you're supposed. You can bet unders, right?
No. I bet. Like okay. I'm just. This is for the sake of the show to tie it into DFS a little bit. That means like if I like a prop to go over, then there's a chance that maybe you could tie that into DFS overs. But
yeah,
like
the public loves their overs. That's why
I've already done a bunch of college stuff today and just jammed a bunch of unders. So
yeah,
I can give you some in a little bit, but right now I'm focused on NBA. If I and of course some games already started. They might have already started the team, but so Fox 3-pointers, interesting. Devin Vassell 3-pointers, interesting, just because of the way Sacramento's defending the 3-point line. I like those 2 guys on those props, but I like those 2 guys in DFS. Joe Val, man, great spot. The rebounding should be all his tonight. He should own the boards. Love the rebounding overs. I love the point overs on DeRozan and Levine, both of them. Obviously, you got to spread that stuff out. You can't play that in the – wouldn't play those guys in the same lineup, wouldn't put them on the same prop card, but one of those guys is exploding. If not, both of them going to hit their number right there at 24.5, 26.5 points. Somebody's getting credit. Wemby's not there. They're just – the Spurs are a shell in the middle of what they were when Wemby was able to play. You can get to the rim on them, and you can get anywhere inside the 3-point line. You're in pretty good shape on them. And DeRozan, the best mid-range game guy in the NBA. Yeah. And there's no defense for that for the Spurs right now. So not that they want to – they want to funnel that anyway. Everybody wants to funnel it, but DeRozan will take advantage of it. Yeah, those – a lot of guys that stand out in this game.
Some updates, by the way. Jaden Springer ruled out. Keontae George, with his illness, is available to play for Utah tonight. But we said that Caleb Martin is going to make his debut for Dallas. Limit to 15 minutes per Coach Kidd. So how many do they have again, Dallas? Is it 9? What are they down to? So they have 9, but one of the 9 is 15 minutes, so it's like 8.5. Okay. And Dante Exum is available too. So, yeah, again, Dallas basically with 8.5 players, with one of their players capped at 15. And then Boucher's got that tooth, so he cannot play basketball tonight. I think he was projected out because he was doubtful earlier today. Anything else as far as the Spurs and Sacramento? How vengeful is De'Aaron Fox? You got him on the vengeful scale anywhere?
Yeah. I think he'll be really focused and hyped up to have a big game tonight against his team. Yeah, I do.
He gets a reception, right? I assume he's still well liked there in Sacramento. It wasn't bad.
He didn't force his way out or nothing.
Yeah, I assume he gets a video and then the crowd cheers.
I don't know about a video.
Well, he's video worthy. Of course, he's video worthy.
It might be too soon. I don't know. I doubt they put something. Maybe they did though. I don't know.
I'm going to bet on video. Video's like minus 10,000. Of course, they're going to get the video.
It's not like he's was there for a decade and won a championship. It's just like he was drafted and he played out a little bit past his rookie contract and then he got traded. I don't know that. Not everything's video worthy. Hell, Clay going back to Golden State is video worthy.
Of course.
I don't know if Who
was the guy?
Was it like Atlanta giving a video to DeJounte Murray? Like, who cares, man?
I bet you he gets one too. Was it Paul George? Who was there's a guy that was complaining he didn't get a video tribute.
Paul George did complain he didn't get a video tribute. Man, what a boy, Paul George. That's funny.
And he played like 5. Was the Clippers didn't give him a video tribute? He played like 5 years there. This is the guy. Here's a video tribute. This is us trading away SGA for Paul George and 3 number 1 picks. Thank you.
Dean, am I on the right track? Because
you guessed it correctly. Yeah, you got it.
No way.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Oh
yeah,
man, see. Here's the thing. That's the thing. Now there's like you feel like there's an asterisk there because you don't know if I looked at the chat. Like I didn't look at the chat. I don't even have Discord pulled up, by the way. But now there's like an asterisk. There's a personal asterisk on it because somebody guessed it, and But the Axel got Axel. You had to go for a different route there.
Yeah, I could have went Axel Foley, but that's 2 on the nose.
Not Axel Foley. It's not Axel Foley.
LaMelo Ball dealing with an illness. Did I miss that he was ill? If that was on the injury report, I missed it. Yet Nurkic officially in, Smith officially in, Green. Okay, we assume these guys are playing, right? But they're saying LaMelo illness available to play. Okay, I didn't know he was ill, but I don't think I'm playing him anyway. But okay, fair enough. Noted.
That's the only move on to the next game, Dean. But I'll tell you this much: these 3 games at that hour, or the late night hammers, they're all 3 that you can make a whole series of rosters just with these 3 games. These are 3 awesome DFS games.
Or you can just plug in a couple value plays earlier to and you get the studs because you're probably going to want somebody in OKC. You're like one player gets there, I imagine. Probably somebody in Toronto gets there, right? Just that's the way I see it. Like Toronto has 10, and they're facing the Jazz, and most of them are really cheap, with the exception of the couple of stars. But I think somebody on the Thunder, although we talk about the Thunder, like they might not have one player play 30 minutes. That's possible. That's kind of the way they might run it out. One guy we have currently projected is Wiggins, and he draws the toughest matchup as well. No clarity just yet as far as Avdia, as far as Grant. That's dropped. I missed it. We should be getting that coming through at some point. Yeah, Raptors available players. I think it's 9, right? Yeah, Quickly, Walter, Lawson, Barnes, Robinson, Shed, Roden, Battle, Castleton, and Temple. Okay. 2 more games. We have crunch time coming in about 15 minutes or so. Beer and Noto, 2 of the OGs, as well as Roth. Kevin Roth holding it down. Are we moving along? We're moving along, right? I think we are.
Moving along.
Okay. We could drop that 5th clue just for fun. The 5th clue, for those that have not yet seen the official answer, the 5th clue for today's Film Friday is Barbie. Barbie is the 5th clue. Okay. The Suns. The Suns take on Denver. 238.5 is the total. The Suns are 6.5-point dogs here. Joker is officially questionable. It's on ESPN, the back half of the ESPN doubleheader. My assumption is he plays. He tends to play through most things. Be on alert if he doesn't, but my guess is he does. Aaron Gordon is questionable. Otherwise, Strother's out. Nothing new there. As far as Phoenix, Bradley Beal is questionable. I thought he was probable. Did I not see that? Am I making that up? I don't know how much that matters, and he tapped out last time he played. Could not last the entire game. But, yeah, according to the injury report, he is officially questionable with his calf. Otherwise, nothing really of note. So I guess the big question here, Chop, is how much are we prioritizing Joker? You mentioned, 15 points as far as his median projection, higher than the next highest guy. Maybe it was 13 or 14. But, double digits as far as his median projection. He really kind of has to put up a 75, for you to feel okay. If he puts up 55, that's kind of bad. 60 is pretty meh. He's got to put up 75, right? At least 60. How much are we prioritizing Joker? How do you feel about the Suns and Denver? Suns are playing their dudes. They're going to run Booker and Durant into the ground because they have some ground to make up. They're, in a tough spot and basically a lost season, it seems like.
Well, first off, Dean, I'd like to point out that North Dakota State basketball will be without their 2 leading scorers tonight. So I'm not sure if people are into that kind of thing, you could maybe
I think they're making money. I'm not in the North Dakota State per se, but do you have a take in this game?
Well, I have zero take, except for I just saw that their two leading scorers will be out tonight. So I don't know if it's even on the board or if it's already been adjusted to or what. But I'll also say you got to be careful because North Dakota State plays South Dakota tonight. And at the same time, in another arena, South Dakota State plays North Dakota tonight. Sounds weird, huh? It took me a minute to catch it too.
Do you know what North Dakota State? You know what their not their mascot name, but like what their nickname is?
The Bisons?
Yeah, Bison, singular. Well, I guess Bison is plural.
Bison, yeah, Bison.
Yeah, Bison.
But I mean, you got to be careful because South Dakota State, North Dakota State, South Dakota, same. It's weird, but you got don't bet the wrong thing, guys. Be careful out there. But these are like conference tournaments for these really lower level conferences. So somebody's getting automatic bids and stuff, and so it means something. It's pretty interesting. But Denver Phoenix, I think, is a great standalone DFS game. It's interesting. There's potential to be value if Jokic got ruled out, but I'm not counting on that. I think this is a game for stars right here. If you can't afford Jokic, which you should be able to, but if you can't, well, you could certainly take his fantasy points prop over. That's for sure, and at least hedge yourself a little bit. But Jokic and Porter should absolutely stand out there and obliterate Phoenix from the outside, I believe. So Michael Porter Jr., I think, is a great play. Jamal Murray, I would put him third on that Denver list. I like him after Jokic and after Porter. The rest of them, I probably would need, Jokic to get ruled out to really be interested in them. On the flip side, you can run it back with a Booker or a Durant. Whatever your heart chooses right there. Both of them, I think, are pretty solid plays. It's just a great game to have some stars going at it because I think it's going to be competitive and I think it's going to be high scoring. And so I'd find value other places and have stars from this game.
Ownership as of right now, we have about 29% for Joker on DK. Murray and Booker and Durant are in double digits with like 10 to 15%. Gordon at 9. Again, he's questionable too. If we happen to lose, and this is an unlikely scenario, we both think Joker is going to play. But if we happen to lose both Joker and Gordon, Westbrook will be the guy that really benefits. His price has been down. Currently, his minutes are in the mid 20s or so. He would get a boost, a pretty good boost. At 24 is his current projection. He would jump up to a 33-minute projection. But again, that's another scenario. It's unlikely. But if we happen to lose both Joker and Gordon, and of course Murray would look good, and DeAndre Jordan would be the 3K guy, assuming he starts. But I don't know if I would force that. And, you can go small against Phoenix if you want to. So probably not something I would. We already talked about a lot of 3K essentially centers, and I think those guys are basically better than Jordan as well. One game to go, Chop, before we turn this over to Crunch Time. We gave away a week free of RG Premium for today's Film Friday, but if you didn't win, you can just go ahead and buy it. Get yourself some combo. It's $79.99 for your first month. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, NBA, PGA, MMA, everything with the exception of NASCAR. Again, I say baseball, and a lot of times I say this like, oh, well, not really baseball but yeah, really baseball because it's not that, we're playing baseball. I guess the Dodgers are playing the Cubs in 2 weeks in Japan, something like that, give or take. And, the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, that's when the season opens up. I was looking at the schedule. We're going to have crossover season for a couple weeks. It's going to be fun for content with some basketball, end of the season basketball with a brand new season baseball. We'll be breaking that stuff down soon enough. Do want to shout out Shot Quality as well. You can get a month access, $40 the entire year, $200. Well, now you just buy it for the month. That wouldn't make any sense to buy it for the year. 3-day pass, less than $10. The most advanced NBA data in the market. Get Shot Quality projections for Lineup HQ. And Chop, you were talking about props and pick'em and things of that sort. You can get the Props and Pick'em package at a discount. Props and Pick'em package features daily prop picks, fantasy pick'em selections, and all the experts, all the RG guys. We all sort of partake and jump in there, some more than others. We're knocking 50% off the price of your first month when you sign up with the link below. I'm not sure it's going to be dropped in the old YouTube, but it will be, in the notifications and the message in the text on the YouTube. If you guys are hanging out on YouTube, did we officially say hello? Hit that like button and subscribe and turn on those notifications. Hit everything. Hit all the buttons. New York's taking on LA. Fun game last night. They did not leave. They are on a back half of a back-to-back, but of course they're still in Los Angeles. Last night versus the Lakers. Bummer. They did lose Brunson, thankfully. They said results were negative. He had that ankle. He's not playing basketball tonight. Otherwise, as far as New York, well, Mitch Roth played, so he's not playing, right? He's not going to play the back half of a back-to-back. I'm just pulling up the injury report now. I'm fairly certain that's what I saw earlier. Yes, Mitch Roth is out. Precious Achiuwa is officially questionable. As far as the Clippers, nothing new here. Ben Simmons, he's got a knee. Powell's got a hamstring. And that's that. New York and the Clippers, Chop. What do we got?
Yeah, another really good game. Pretty much buoyed by the fact that Jalen Brunson is out. Like, it just helps the overall appeal of this game because it's going to open up so much for the New York Knicks. So, yeah, third game of the late night, and I think it's just as good as the other ones in its own different way. I think we see a lot. First of all, back-to-back does not matter with Tibbs. We don't have to worry about that. He's going to get these guys are going to get a lot of run anyway. So I think we see a lot of Karl Anthony Towns usage tonight. I hear some people saying Josh Hart, but I'd rather take the price dip on OG. And, Mikal Bridges, not so much. He's just not really hitting his shots right now. But OG, I think I want the difference in salary savings there and go with OG. Campaign's $3,100. I mean, Brunson's out. That's your ball handler. Campaign's he's gonna split a lot of it with Deuce McBride. He's gonna take the majority of it. So even though he's probably not great at accumulating stats out there, he's gonna have a lot of time on the court. I expect him to do pretty well for that price tag. So there's some value for you if you need it late night. If you got some open roster spots. On the flip side, for the Clippers, my favorite player in this game, period, from either side is Zubac. I think Zubac is going to crush it tonight. I like his DFS, outlook as well as any of the props you want to put in on him. But points would be my big one for him. I think he crushes in the paint.
Yeah, Clippers for me, it's like, you got to stick to the three. It's Harden, it's Zubac, it's Leonard. My issue with Zubac is it's nothing against him. It's just he's in a tough category. As far as the centers, that's the tricky part for me. But I'm not going to say he's a bad play. Although, tough matchup historically. Again, both these guys, Cat on the other side, not the best matchup. Cat, of course, extra usage.
So let me pump the brakes there, Dean, for a second. Yeah. List for me your 5 favorite just center only plays, and let's see if we can wiggle Zubac in there. Your favorite 5 only centers.
Okay, Joe Val. Nurkic. I mentioned Orlando Robinson, Joker.
Value.
That's 4. Let me see. Let me pull up the list. I gave you 4, right?
4. Okay, well, let's work with those 4 right now. So for sure, you could definitely poke some holes in Nurkic. That's, obviously you could do that. Orlando Robinson, I think, is a great play too. He's a value play. Let's say I wanted to get my value from Campaign, and I thought I could Campaign could offset Orlando Robinson, and then there's Jokic, and then there's Joe Val. All right, let's say we didn't go with the $12,000 Jokic. That's a little bit too much for us, and he doesn't kill us tonight. So that leaves you with Joe Val, and then you could play Zubac as a center, and your value could be Payne instead of Robinson. You know what I mean? Like, you could wiggle him in there for much lower ownership, but I'm sure, I get it. He's a tough position, but he also has massive upside tonight, I think.
So Hero in, Wiggins out for Miami. Okay. I don't know if enough is going to change where I get excited about anybody in Miami. I think there's just other value stuff in this slate that's better, where I'm not all of a sudden going to run to, I don't know, Terrorizzi or whatever. I can't imagine that's going to happen. Conchar available, Santi Alba available as well. And the other one is, if Holmgren sits, Jalen Williams looks really strong too. He looks fine as is. He can get better.
I mean, this feels like a good GPP night. And
it's very good
because there's just, for every guy you've listed there, I could poke holes. Like Jalen Williams would be great. He could also go out there and get you 12 fantasy points, and somebody else like Zubac get you 50, and you lap the field with that ownership. But I could poke holes in everybody. I could like put each one of them up in their own stratosphere for different reasons. So it's a good GPP night if you're into that. But I'm watching the movie. I'm not worried about it.
So Burks is out now for Miami, and Haka is in. Burks wasn't expected to get a lot of minutes, but he would have been a guy that would take some of the minutes from Wiggins. 32 minutes. So it's about 40 minutes to go around, but I still don't think there's like enough because they're just going to give it to. I like Hero a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to play him. I got him a lot in an underdog. He was cheap because he was questionable all day, so I got him late in drafts. And that's in drafts, not in the props. So I don't know what his props are. I'm just trying to. I don't think there's anybody. Mitchell already getting 30 minutes. I just think that, OKC stuff is better than whatever is going to come from Miami. I think Toronto stuff, the Toronto cheapies, is better than whatever we're going to get from Miami. And I think the campaign or McBride. You mentioned both of them. You think who do you think starts amongst those two? I don't know. Who starts for New York as far as in the absence of Brunson? We're projecting campaign to start. Campaign, Bridges, Hart, OG, Cat. It could be McBride. I don't know who starts. It's one of those two, almost definitely.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
No clue, Dean. No clue. It's above my pay grade.
Yeah, I think I was just looking at the minutes. I think we're giving more minutes to McBride, and we're giving campaign the starts. I think that's what we're doing. 25 to Payne, 35 to McBride. But in the starting lineups page, maybe they're just not coordinated. I don't know. But they both project pretty well. Whoever starts is going to project better, obviously. Yeah. TJ, let me know when crunch time's here. I don't have access to the green room. I'm not cool enough for whatever reasons. I can't see crunch time hanging out. We should knock out for the movie. You got it, and somebody in the chat in the Discord got it. But we see the clues are scrolling. And let's just go ahead and let the people know how we got there. Clue number 1 was jump. The second clue was hit, jump and hit. And the third clue was why. And I believe that's where the clue was actually, the movie was actually guessed. The film was guessed. Axel and Barbie jump. A lot of jumping in this movie. The main character jumps a fair bit. Others do as well. There is a famous hit. And it's not just like hit like a punch, but it's like a hit job was kind of the reference here, Chop, right? I don't know if you pieced that together, but it was a hit job.
Yeah.
Galuli, I think was the character's name.
Yeah. Well, it's not just a character. That's a real life. That's based on a true story. Based on a true story.
Jeff Galuli? Why is that name in my head? I think that was the person.
That might have been it. That might have been
Sean Eckert? Was it Sean Eckert? He had like an accomplice. I think that was the two guys. Things that should not be in my brain anymore. But the third clue was why. And that's, of course, what after the hit, that's what was this character was screaming. Why? Very famous video from 1994. Is that right? Close enough. Axel, it's Tanya. It's about Tanya Harding. Axel is it's a move you do in ice skating. Of course, you know this, Chop. Triple toe loop.
Yeah.
And Barbie, our star was Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie, of course, famous for starring in Barbie as well. And I think it was T. Carter who got that in 3. So shout out to T. Carter. Chop, give me who's breaking the slate. What do you got?
Let me pull up my list here. So many guys, I didn't narrow it down to one. Ooh, there's a lot of good candidates tonight, Dean. I'm just I'm gonna go back to the De'Aaron Fox revenge. Let's see, 13% owned. That's not bad. 8,400 is a decent salary at Sacramento. So I think there's a little bit more juice than if it was Chet Holmgren ruled out, by the way.
See, what was that? Why was he not ruled out from the start? I don't get that.
So, okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with De'Aaron Fox. And listen, personally, if I was making some rosters tonight, I'd be all over the OKC value. I'd limit it, though, to maybe 2 guys per GPP roster, but make sure I got a full round of value from there. But I'd leave a ton open for late because I think the late night games are really, really where all the big points are. That's where the big boy, the Foxes, the Jokic's, Zubac's. I think that's where you get your big volume points, but the value comes early. So that'd just be my strategic standoff.
The Thunder still have 11 for what it's worth. The Raptors have 10, and the Mavs have 9, but it's really 8.5 because Caleb Martin can only play 15 minutes. Okay, let's do it. Let's bring on crunch time. By the way, my pick, the slate breaker, Jonas Valanciunas. That's what I'm going.
Nice. What is he, about 60% owned?
Is he? Okay, I see what you're doing there. I hear you. I'll come up with one. It's not. Well, my slate breaker is not playing Scotty Barnes. How about that? Can I go that direction? That's the way I'm going to do it. But all right. Crunch time coming in. OGs reunited. You got Roth. You got Noto. You got Beer. Let's do it right now. Crunch time. I saw you in the chat, Roth. You said you never heard of I, Tonya, but I'm sure you remember Tonya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan, or you're aware of the story? Yeah, okay. They made a movie about it. Margot Robbie was in it. It's good. It's worth watching.
Okay.
I don't know why that's what today's movie was. Just it's
random one.
It was random.
Hey, Dean, how do you feel about your team getting literally the most annoying dude in the NHL?
Well, they already had him in Kachuk, right? Now they got the second most annoying guy. Apparently
God, I hate Marshawn. I hate that rat. But congratulations, he's pretty good.
That's it's one of those you hate the guy when he's on the other team, but you love him when he's on your team. Yeah. That's my understanding is what kind of player he is. But yeah, the Panthers are going for it. Kachuk, I'm not sure if you're aware, if you follow, if you care, but he's out for the season, but he might be playing in the playoffs. So to me, that signals that he probably will be available. I know he got hurt during the tournament, the fantastic
Four Nations thing. Yeah.
Four Nation, yeah. I couldn't think of the name of the tournament, but yeah, he tried to gut it out. But I'm excited. And they got Seth Jones as well too. So yeah, man, we're getting spoiled here because of back-to-back Stanley Cup final appearances. But and how hockey is, Roth. You could be the 1 seed and get swept in the first round, and it's not completely bonkers.
Yeah, which is what makes it so fun, really.
Playoff hockey's the best. It's spectacular. All right. Anything else, Chop, before we step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time? You got your movie to watch. What did you say you're watching again? What's on tap for you?
What is that? What is that Kieran Culkin movie? What's the name of?
It's the one on Hulu we talked about earlier. Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg, Kieran Culkin. He won Best Actor.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that one. There you go, Real Pain. We're gonna watch that one. Got a little Marco's Pizza on the way, Dean. I'm gonna put in some underdog rosters. Shout out to my OGs here. They're gonna take us home on crunch time. Good to see these. This is the first time we've all been in the same room in quite a while, Dean.
Hey, we got to bring it back. I'm going to continue to say next year, bringing it back.
Do you think there's 60 plus years of RotoGrinders in this?
Damn, Roth, we ain't that old.
I think I've been here for 10.
It's pretty close. Oh, you mean amongst all 5 of us? I thought you meant just the OGs.
No.
Yeah, for sure.
We're on it. You're on the fringe. Yeah. It's close to 60. It probably is close to 60. We bust out the calculator for sure.
I got almost 20 myself.
Yeah, I think we top 60.
Chop's probably got more than that. And Noto, probably even before I was.
Chop tilting me, saying he's going to order not local pizza. He's going to order
Marcos.
A chain pizza. Unbelievable. What? He knows how to needle me.
Marcos is solid, but
what are the local place? The local place is better, I promise. Whoever it is. All right.
I'm not spending that kind of money on my kids. They can have the pizza.
I can
know the difference, man. Breadsticks.
Hungry Howie's not available. Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. Rob, take it away.
Good stuff as always, guys. Welcome to it. You know the drill. It's crunch time. It's 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz. It is the OG version, which has kind of been a thing lately on Fridays. I like it. We got Noto in the house. Noto, how are you, good sir?
What's up, boys? Just trying to do some moving, getting ready for baby, getting a lot of manual labor hours in, which I thought I left behind me. But yeah, we're doing good over here. How are you guys doing?
Better than that. Better than moving and prepping for a baby. For sure. Good luck to you. Yeah, I know that's a grind, but how you feeling about this slit? You get to escape baby and moving for a little bit, focus on some NBA. You like what you're seeing, Noto?
No, this slate's terrible. There's like 100 guys that are elite point per dollar options. I mean, it's better than having it no value, but yeah, on any other slate, like 20 of these guys would be 30% owned. So I guess there could be some interesting tournament plays for sure.
Yeah, it makes it interesting. It's at least fun when you look at your lineup, and that's half the battle. Since I'm going to lose anyways, I like at least having fun while I build it. We got Beer in the house as well. Beer, how are you?
I'm good, man. This guy's moving, dealing with babies, and I'm gonna pour a beer when we're done here. So life is good over here, Roth. How are you, my man? Now I want to ask you the weather, man. I'm up in Michigan. I get 60 degrees. Then it's snowing today. Then 60. What's going on with this weather, Roth?
You got to get me on the text. Meansy just hits me up. Right. Meansy just texts, "Can I walk my dogs?" That's nearly a nightly text. So you're allowed. You get you on the text.
Get on that private line.
That's right. I got you covered. Guys, let's dive into the slate. It is busy. It is active. There's a lot happening. So let's just jump right into it. We've got 34 minutes until we hit lock. I want to run through FanDuel. I want to run through DraftKings. And of course, I want to answer some of those questions as well. If you're watching on the YouTube, smash that like button. Hit that subscribe as well. We're doing it for free to get the eyeballs. But if we don't get the eyeballs, we're going to start charging. So hit the thumbs up. Do yourself a favor. Beer, why don't you lead us off, man? You can either give me a breakdown of what has happened, give me a look-see of what we're waiting to happen, or you can just jump right into it with the FanDuel point guard.
Roth, there's so many injuries. It would take me all 34 minutes to walk through it all. So we'll just kind of navigate everything as we go. So point guard, I think there's a variety of ways you can go. We'll talk high end. We'll talk value. And the high end, I really like De'Aaron Fox tonight. We get the revenge narrative. I know the production's been down a little bit, but I think that'll help keep the ownership down. A lot of newer players are looking at box scores, and this guy's not worth this money. So I think you really see him come back to life tonight against his former team in their building. So he stands out to me on the high end. I think Morant is interesting tonight against Dallas. James Harden in that late game against the Knicks. And then there's plenty of value as well. The old McBride Payne debate. We'll see what Noto thinks. I think McBride just has a much higher ceiling than Cam Payne. The minutes projection much higher on McBride. Payne may start, and that may drive people to him. I'm not saying he's a bad play, but I think McBride has a lot higher upside. Keon Ellis, another cheap play for the Kings I like tonight. And then mid-range, guys like Quickly with all the injuries in Toronto, a standout. Dinwiddie, interesting at 6K. So that's a spot. There's a lot of guys that we're probably not even going to talk about that are viable, but those are some of my favorites tonight.
Okay, Noto, I've got to kick it to you. And obviously, you both have mentioned how many options there are. Can you try to narrow it down and give me some of your favorites or some guys that maybe you're focusing on?
Yeah, I'm with Beer on De'Aaron Fox. Love a good revenge narrative. If I'm spending up, I like Fox or Harden. Harden's been playing great last couple of games. Powell's still out, so I think that's a good one. The Knicks, they historically have been really tough defensively, but that hasn't been the case this year. Those are my two favorite spends. If I'm going cheap, I think McBride and Payne are the way to go. McBride, not the same per minute guy as Payne, but like Beer mentioned, definitely has a higher minute floor. Even if he doesn't start, he's probably going to see 35 minutes, maybe even more. Outside of that, you can go to Ja Morant. I typically don't love Memphis when they're healthy, but Jaren Jackson's out, so that helps. Yeah, I just don't think you need to get too cute. Keon Ellis is another guy that's going to see big minutes at a cheap price point.
Okay, good stuff. How about shooting guard, Noto? What are you doing over there?
Yeah, love the OKC guys here. Everyone's out for OKC. They're playing a bunch of second stringers. And so everyone's going to see an uptick in minutes. Everyone's going to see an uptick in usage. Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe, both, projecting as the top point per dollar options here. Don't mind pairing them together. Don't mind picking one or the other. I think Jacoby Walter might be the guy that kind of flies under the radar at shooting guard. He started the other night. Had a pretty decent game. I just think at home against the Jazz, a lot of guys are missing for Toronto too. So I think he could be interesting. And then we didn't even talk about Quickly. He's another guy against the Jazz at home that there certainly has high upside. I just have a hard time trusting teams that are trying to lose. So paying up for guys on those teams is kind of iffy. But yeah, I do think both those guys are interesting. And then we'll talk about this guy more on DraftKings. But AJ Lawson, if you do want to play don't play the veterans on bad teams, I think that's the way to go for Toronto.
Yeah. Okay. Beer, your thoughts at shooting guard?
Okay, see, obviously, Noto hit on. My favorite is Wiggins. I think there's more upside there, but Isaiah Joe is certainly in play. I think cash games, you probably want at least two of these guys, and even in tournaments, maybe you don't want them both in the same lineup. I get that, but with that whole team out, there's just so much to go around. Even if you just took SGA out of the lineup, there would be a ton to go around. Now you add in everybody else. So plenty of exposure to those guys. We mentioned McBride, shooting guard eligible here. Keon Ellis, again, I love the A.J. Lawson call. Will be much lower owned than Kobe Walter. Less minutes projection, projection overall, pretty similar between those two guys. So he could be sneaky here tonight. And I agree with Noto. Initially I was, Colin Sexton is back. Let me get him in. But some of these teams are just trying to lose. So they're not going to roll out these veterans. Sexton probably tops out at 20 minutes. So just an example of what you need to look for here in March in NBA. You see all the injuries, but also what's the motivation for these teams? So just keep that in the back of your mind when you're making these lineups. High end, I think there's some plays here as well. Zach LaVine looks like a good option. Anthony Edwards, always an option when he's going to be low owned, under 10% owned. This Miami matchup is, they're not the defensive team they were. People still see Miami and they avoid it. So I think Anthony Edwards could be sneaky tonight, under 10%.
All right, let's go to small forward. Did get a question on a guy in Toronto, Battle. Great last name. I'm not sure what position he is on FanDuel, but Beer, talk to me about Battle and then tell me what your thoughts are at small forward in general.
See, Roth, that's why you're the best in the business. We roll into small forward and we could talk Jamison Battle. So I'm not going there. I know there's a lot to go around here, but I don't even think he gets to 20 minutes tonight. So I think there's better options for this team tonight. You love the matchup for Toronto. I just don't know if there's going to be enough minutes available. So he's a pass for me. As far as small forwards go, mentioned Levine. Also really like DeMar DeRozan tonight. Probably prefer DeRozan. They're the same price here on FanDuel. I think I'd go that route if you're choosing between the two. Najee Marshall, a guy I like, small forward and power forward eligible, and not as much value at this position. Aaron Wiggins is small forward eligible here on FanDuel, so he's probably my favorite cheapie. Caruso, I'm not as excited about. I'd rather have Wiggins and Joe when we're talking OKC. And then I got to throw in Scotty Barnes. No RJ Barrett. Jakob Poeltl's out. They're missing a lot of bodies there. So Barnes, a guy that picks up the scoring, can contribute across the stat sheet. I think he's a great spend up tonight.
Okay. Noto, your thoughts at small forward?
Yeah, Rod, you're over here talking some baseball in the chat. Love it. I'm ready to move on to baseball too. If you guys just want to finish the show with some baseball thoughts. But no, I like all the guys Beard mentioned. I think DeRozan's probably my favorite. If you want to play the double revenge narrative there, DeRozan versus his former team, Fox versus his former team. I think you could do that. I know DeRozan, the revenge is twice removed, but still counts in my eyes. One other guy I wanted to mention, Kawhi Leonard. Seems like a 10% usage boost with Powell off the floor. He's 8,300 on FanDuel, so he's not getting a lot of ownership. We have him at 17% right now. So if you're not playing Harden, I don't mind looking to Kawhi Leonard. That's pretty much it for me. I like Wiggins, like Barnes. No problem with Najee Marshall too.
Okay, let's go to power forward. Noto, what are we doing there?
Yeah, again, you can play DeRozan and Barnes here. So those are going to be my two favorites. Kenrick Williams on OKC is 3,700. He's been that guy that he's always been on the roster. Anytime he gets minutes, he tends to produce. The per minute's not great, but when he gets more minutes without the big guys, he tends to be better on a per minute basis. So I'll go to there. Don't mind Marshall, Najee Marshall once again, and then Kawhi Leonard as well. I think if you want to get a little bit different, you can go Kevin Durant. I don't think anybody's going to be paying up for the stars in that game. You go like a Durant, Jokic, and fill it out with a bunch of value. So if you want to do that, I don't mind that for large field stuff.
Okay. Beer, I want to talk to you about power forward, but quick, I want to note a couple things coming in through the chat here that Gobert is out and Denny Abdia is out as well.
Good. We needed more value.
Yeah, right. So is there plays now that kind of rock it up? They're like, these are must plays, or is it now just a few more guys in that mix of great value and great plays?
I mean, Portland, Simon stands out. Shaden Sharp is a guy we've seen have some massive games in this scenario. So those would be the two for me that jump out. Kamara gets a little bit of a bump. Minnesota, it's pretty much the same old. Gobert's been out for a while. So Naz Reid, it was fun while it lasted. I think he's still decent, probably a little bit overpriced with Randall back. So, you can go there, but it's not the smash that it used to be.
Well said. Okay, what do we like at power forward?
Again, a lot of same names. So if I double up, my apologies, but really like DeRozan, who you can slide into this power forward spot on FanDuel. Najee Marshall again. What I really like on FanDuel, Bam Adebayo, power forward eligible. So nice when you can slide in an extra center in a spot you don't really love. DraftKings, yes, you have that utility spot, but he stands out to me tonight as well as an option. There's decent value at this spot. Noto mentioned Kenrich Williams. Don't mind him here tonight. And then mid-range, Santi Aldama's been my boy, so I know he's got that Q tag. We'll see if he gives it a go, but he's intriguing without Jaren Jackson Jr. in the lineup tonight.
Okay, how about center?
Center, staying with me?
Yep, you got it.
Joe Val, baby. Joe Val season. This is a guy what do we always want with Joe Val? We just
minutes. Just get more than 22 freaking minutes.
That's the guy's fantasy points per minute are always through the roof. Again, this season, 1.33. So, he's going to get 30 minutes. He's been crushing it of late. So he's easily my favorite center on the night, but tons of options here. Do you want to play the risk game with Nikola Jokic? He's up there. He gets ruled out. You're going to have a lot of adjusting to do. So I would plan that one in advance. But this is a perfect Jokic slate. I mean, with all the value that we have, if he's healthy, Roth, he's probably 40% owned on this slate, to be honest with you. That Q tag is just going to keep his ownership way down low if we don't get that news in time. So definitely a slate. You can go to him. Karl Anthony Towns on the high end I really like tonight with Brunson out of the lineup. Zubac has been playing some good ball, so he's in play. So, and then value. Orlando Robinson is really projecting well for Toronto, projecting him for nearly 30 minutes here tonight. Nurkic is going to have to step in without Williams. So this is a spot I really like, and that's why I like you can slide Bam up to power forward, still play one of these guys on FanDuel, take advantage of that.
Yeah, makes sense. Beer, a quick note. I think you mentioned Aldama. He is in officially.
Okay, love it.
So that news, it has broken. Noto, your favorites at center. It is a good spot. A lot of guys I want to get in here.
Yeah, it's a great spot. I would love to play Joe Val with Beer. It's just hard to do on FanDuel because there's so many good plays. I think cash games, small field stuff, you go Jalen Williams or Orlando Robinson. They're just projecting so well. We got Williams projected for 32 minutes, which, he's always been a good per minute producer. Robinson used to crush when he'd get the starts for Miami. So I think those two are the safest, but I do like the Jokic call. The problem, you got to have a backup plan, like Beer mentioned. I think if, you get to like 9 and he gets ruled out, you kind of just have to go Zubac or Karl Anthony Towns and then upgrade somewhere else. So just have a 2v2 in place.
Like that Towns pivot with Brunson out isn't all that
not
bad,
horrible,
right?
But just you got to have it planned out ahead of time, or you're going to be scrambling and
have a 2v2 ready.
Yeah.
So you can upgrade somewhere else. And then that's pretty much it for me on FanDuel.
Okay, good stuff. We will kick it to DraftKings. Did get a question real quick, Noto, and I don't have it pulled up, but I think it was about Williams on the Mavs. I want to say he was a backup guard, and he went off the other game. And I assume he's still cheap, and I assume he still has potential. Any interest there while I pull up my promo read?
I'm guessing Brandon Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, on any other slate, sure. I just don't think you can do it tonight. I don't know. I mean, even if he gets you like 25, that's still probably not going to be good enough at his price.
Yeah. Okay. Beer, you in the same boat on that?
Yeah, I agree. If we didn't have all of the OKC value, Toronto value, I mean, the Knicks, there's just so much better value. So the beauty, he'll be loaned. I don't think a lot of people are going to go there. So that's always intriguing in tournaments. But the Mavs seem like another one of those teams, even with being a thin rotation, they've kind of spread it out to a lot of different guys, trying to see what they have in some of these guys. So can be tough to predict. So it's risky. I'm not going there, but I understand why somebody would.
I'll tell you what they've got. They got shit. That's what the Mavs have on that roster.
Pretty much. When Najee Marshall's your best player right now, that's not a good thing. He should be about your 9th best player on a good team.
All right, let's hit these promo reads and then knock it over to DK here. If you are playing multiple DFS sports, and I think most people do, then check out this deal for a limited time. Get your first month of Combo Pro $79.99. Just $15 more than PGA Premium. It's only $5 more than NBA Premium, so you might as well do it. It is fantastic value. We're offering it right here at RotoGrinders, so make sure you're signing up. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe as well. In the meantime, let's head over to DraftKings, and I think Beer started us off at point guard last time, so Noto, you get to start us DraftKings point guard. What do you like?
Yeah, so just quickly ran the DK optimal. There's 4 Thunder guys and only 1 Toronto guy, which surprised me a little bit. So this is a play where you can definitely get different. I do like Scotty Barnes, 7,900. It's hard to pass him up in a matchup against the Jazz. This is like the one game where both teams aren't double-digit underdogs because they've both been trying to lose so much. So I like him. If you want to get a little different, quickly is going to be a little lower owned than Barnes. But the min-salary guys are really calling me. AJ Lawson at 3K, Campaign at 3.1K. I think both of them had 25-plus fantasy point upside. And then if you want to spend up, again, I like James Harden. And if you are playing Jokic, you can maybe get a 2v2 in place with Jamal Murray to flip him in there in case Jokic is out. I don't mind doing that.
Okay. Beer, a lot of great plays here. Again, do you have a few favorites? We mentioned some crazy value, Payne, AJ Lawson, and then some great spend ups as well. So who are your favorites here?
Yeah, I like Lawson here at minimum price. So that's feels like a good one. I'm more Team McBride than Payne. I know it's an $1,100 difference, but I just think McBride has much more upside in this one. If you're going to use Barnes, I wouldn't use him here. I would put him in the small forward. He's got the weird point guard small forward pairing on DraftKings that you don't see very often. So I just think there's too much value at point guard to utilize him there. Slide him in the small forward spot. Love the quickly call. He's projecting very well. Utah, the worst defense in the league, as Noto's probably aware. So that game, should be a fantasy fest with all the injuries, a couple bad defenses. So 6,600. I know it's primarily scoring with quickly, which can be frustrating, but big time upside there. And then Keon Ellis, under 5K, going to continue to start for this team and capable of putting 40 on the board. So if I can get a near 10X from a guy, Roth, very, very interested in that.
Yeah, got to get a little bit of that in the lineup. Okay, Beer, your thoughts at small, shooting guard.
So again, Keon Ellis stands out here. I'm glad Noto brought up Jamal Murray. I think he's interesting here tonight. Even if Jokic plays, Murray's a guy that nobody's really going to have. So he's a shooting guard eligible here. A lot of these guys have dual positional flexibility, which is nice. We mentioned Isaiah Joe in the FanDuel section. He looks like the best value out of this group. AJ Lawson, again, you could slide into the shooting guard spot. Noto mentioned Jacoby Walter. Don't mind him here tonight. So this is a spot I think value is going to rule the day between McBride, Ellis, Joe, Payne. There's just so much value that you can utilize at this spot.
Yeah, Noto, you saving there at shooting guard as well?
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to everyone watching. We got a bunch of people live. We got 105 likes, which we'd love to see. The only other guy I wanted to bring up, Klay Thompson. Don't ever play Klay Thompson, but man, 44 fantasy points the other night, 33% usage rate. That's got to be the highest of the season. They have nobody left. Pace up spot for them against Memphis, who's first in pace this season. So he's at 16%. Don't mind that in tournaments. Everyone else, I agree with Beer. We forgot to mention Fox too. At least I didn't. He's 8,400 on DraftKings. I think he's going to be lower owned than he will be on FanDuel. We currently have him for 12%. Sign me up for that.
Yeah. All right. How about small forward, Noto?
All right, a lot of the same names. Aaron Wiggins over here, Barnes, DeRozan, 3 of my favorites on FanDuel, also 3 of my favorites on DraftKings. Jacoby Walter is a little bit cheaper over on DraftKings, so he's probably going to be a little higher owned than he is on the other side. And then again, I like Kawhi Leonard. I just think it's a spot where, I don't know, nobody's going to play him because he's kind of in that mid-range. Everyone's going the stars and scrubs. He's 7,800, gets that big usage boost without Norman Powell on the floor. And the Knicks, they're just not that great defensively, so if you need a late night hammer, don't mind looking to Kawhi. I think that's it for me.
Beer, your thoughts at small forward?
I think there's good value at this spot. We mentioned Aaron Wiggins is probably my favorite. Big time upside with this kid. And he puts numbers up in the regular rotation when everybody's healthy. So he could be the main benefactor here, and the offense could run through him. So really like that price on him at 4,900. Scotty Barnes probably a little bit too cheap as well. Mention him, the point guard, small forward. I would utilize him here at 7,900. I like the Walter call at 3,700. DeMar DeRozan, 7,500 is another option there. So good mix. The slate is just loaded with choices, and we love that because it kind of waters down the ownership. You're still going to have high ownership on the OKC guys, but you're going to get a lot of guys that slide through the cracks that aren't owned. So like I mentioned, Anthony Edwards is a guy I really like. Josh Hart, a guy that's probably 2% owned here tonight that you could utilize with Brunson out. So plenty of ways to get different. Just find your favorites. But Josh Hart really looks like a solid GPP option tonight.
Okay. How about power forward, Beer?
Power forward, my least favorite spot of the night, but you can utilize Wiggins here, which is what I'll be doing, and capitalize on some of that small forward stuff we talked about here. But Najee Marshall at 6K, a guy that I'm playing tonight. Kenrick Williams, 3,400, should play a pile of minutes for OKC. Won't talk about Kawhi. Noda loves him. And I'll mention my boy Santi Aldama again here in this spot. And let's add OG Anunoby to Josh Hart. I think they're both solid options.
TJ making a case for Dieng, Ousmane Dieng. You get any Dieng in those lineups, Noto?
I was going to say, I was just looking at the projections. Reminds me of Gorgie Jang, one of my favorite players ever. Just always came through whenever he would get the start. And he just never got a consistent role. But, yeah, I don't know much about his game, to be honest with you. I'll let the projections team do the hard work behind the scenes. But we haven't projected for 26 minutes, 23 fantasy points, and mid-salary. So, yeah, you can certainly play him.
Yeah. All right. Who else do you like at power forward, Noto?
Yeah, I'm with Beer. I like Wiggins. I think if you're building one lineup, you play Wiggins and don't play any other power forwards unless it's Kawhi.
Wow. By the way, TJ saying he has 50% Jang. And I assume he knows, that's probably his dude. He knows more than most about what's going on there. Beer, did you get any?
I have not, but I'm certainly looking into it. That's the thing. When these teams are so thin, we get the obvious names, but it's digging a little bit deeper. And look at those guys that Dallas was plugging in at center and just putting up numbers. So yeah, I like that call. The minutes projection I wish was a little higher, but not bad. And TJ does know his stuff, so I like the call.
Yeah. All right, Noto. That brings us to center. What are we doing?
Again, love the Jokic builds if you can get a good 2v2, 3v3 in case he ends up being out. And if you can work Jamal Murray into those swaps, I think that's a really good way to attack it. But there's a ton of value here. I mean, Jalen Williams, Orlando Robinson. We have Nurkic at 3,700. Like any other slate, he would be, 50, 60% owned. But it's just there's so many guys that you kind of just have to pick your favorite and hope that they outproduce the other values. And then I do think Valanciunas is a lot more playable on DraftKings just because you can play two centers here, which is probably what I'll be doing in my lineup.
Good stuff. Beer, what do you like at center?
A lot of the same names. So Nurkic looks like a tremendous value tonight. I prefer him over Orlando Robinson, but both guys really projecting well under 4,000. I think it is a good double center night for sure. Jokic is one I'm going to be working in the lineups. Having my pivots all ready to go. Joval in the mid-range should smash tonight. No Wembanyama to deal with for San Antonio, so he should have a field day on the glass there. So those are my favorites. Jokic if you're spending up. Towns if you want to step down a little bit, or that pivot that we talked about. I love the call of adding Murray to your Jokic plans. If he's out, we know Murray gets a big jump. Joval in the mid-range, and then the value with Orlando Robinson and Nurkic tonight.
Okay, I want to open it up to the chat in a little bit, but I have a question for both of you here, and it's a hard one. Your favorite value and your favorite spend up. And there's a ton of value, so that's a very difficult question with all these 3K guys. But, Beer, if you had to pick one guy you feel most comfortable with that's got that kind of floor plus upside combo value-wise, who are you picking, and then who's your favorite spend up?
Aaron Wiggins, for me, is that value under 5K. I think he could go for 40, 50 fantasy points. So it's rare to get a guy that can give you that legit 8, 9, 10X. I think he does that tonight. And I'm going to say Jokic is my favorite spend. Anytime we can get him, not say low owned, but under 20%, I'm going to take advantage of that. But again, going to say it for anyone that just arrived, make sure you have a plan. You have a 2v2 swap. You got Towns available to you. I'd include Murray in that. So a pretty easy swap if you need it. Take advantage of that ownership on Jokic.
Okay, Noto, same question to you. Your favorite value and then your favorite spend up. Preferably when I say value, I'm looking at like these 3K dudes. That's who I want to know. Like which one of those guys can
give you a 3K dude, Roth. You didn't tell me that.
When I said value, I didn't mean 5.5. I mean the cheap stuff.
49. I thought we were sticking under 5. So we'll let Noto go. I'll give you a 3K.
Yeah, to be fair, those are my answers too. So I was going to pivot to Isaiah Joe and Kawhi Leonard. But yeah, Isaiah Joe's not 3K either. So sorry, Roth, we can't. How
about Nurkic? Right. Nurkic and Lawson.
Do I see Big T in the chat?
Shout out to Big T in the chat. Love to see that.
What up, Big T?
Good to see you, Big T. Let's see. We got about 9 minutes here until we hit the lock. That gives us plenty of time for some questions. So fire them up. I'm starting in the Discord. Hit that thumbs up. I'll get through the YouTube as well. But let's start here with a Yahoo Cash question from Peterman. Noto, you in those Yahoo streets at all or not?
I think the last time I played Yahoo was when they did like their big promo like 8 years ago for NFL. So haven't been in those streets for a while.
That's all right. We got the price.
Kirkwood streets.
Yeah, right. That's the Kirkwood question, but we got the prices here, so you can handle it. Yahoo Cash, Fox or Harden, both are $43. So they're both the same price. Fox v. Harden.
Yeah, I mean, I love Fox, but I got to take Harden if they're the same price.
Yeah. All right, Beer. How many OKCs or too many OKCs?
I'm comfortable going as high as 4. I think 3 is probably the target number, but think about what they're missing. I mean, the MVP of the league, Williams, Holmgren, other names. I mean, Dort. So there's so much to go around that 3 is a solid number. 4, you can pull it off. 2, you're probably a little light, I would think.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. DK Cash, Beer, coming right back to you here. Robinson or Nurk?
I prefer Nurk. Robinson projecting a little bit better, but Nurk to me is the better out. You worry, is he going to get enough minutes? I worry about that with both of these guys. So I'm still going to go Nurk, though.
Okay. Got a question for TJ here in the chat. TJ Chinatown in the Discord says, did you get rich on Wednesday when you said all of these dudes, like 7 different dudes you mentioned, all went off? It was the Pritchard 70-point night. The question is, did you get rich? So let us know in the chat.
I had 5 teams, or no, I think I had 7 teams in the top 50 and 0 in the top 10. So I made I better than doubled up in MME. So like you'll take it, but a lot closer to a big day than I didn't actually get there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's pretty good. All you can do is get there. You know, it's tough to take it all down. Let's see your top 3 OKC plays. That's a fun question. Noto, your favorite 3 players on OKC?
I'll go Wiggins, Joe, and Jalen Williams.
Okay, that was quick and easy. Jumping over to the YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Get your questions in. Any Castle, Noto? Any Castle or Vassell love? Not
tonight. I mean, if you're playing a bunch of lineups, you can mix in some of those lower owned guys, but I'm playing one lineup, so they're not going to make mine.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of good guards here. Let's see. Beer. Does Caleb Martin being active for Dallas hurt Najee Marshall?
Not really. They're so thin on bigs. You know, does it hurt him a point or 2 in projections? Maybe that's enough to take you off of him, but I'm not going to change my tune on him. They're just so thin. And Caleb coming back, is he going to play a ton of minutes? Najee's been playing some good ball, so I'm not adjusting anything with Najee.
Yep. All right. This is a 2v2. It looks like Beer. DK Cash. He already has McBride. You want Joe Val and Fox or Jokic and Payne?
I mean, you watch the 6-pack, you'll get that answer. 2 of those guys in the 6-pack today, Joe Val and Fox for me.
Very good. Well, Jokic also one of your faves, but Joe Val and Fox is tough to top. Yes, DK Cash question. Noto coming to you now here. Marshall and Flagler or Klay Thompson and Kenrich Williams?
Klay and Kenrich.
Okay. And I think Big T said something about Flagler. I think he said that's his flag plant of the night. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Favorite OKC value in a FanDuel GPP, Noto?
I mean, I like Isaiah Joe, but yeah, you can go Jang, you can go Flagler, I guess. I don't know. You can play all these guys, really.
Yeah. All right. Just scrolling down just a little bit. Jim says, Beer, Edey and Morant for Memphis. Is it doing too much on the slate?
I mean, I like Morant. I'm not on Edey. I think there's better center plays tonight. He has been playing better. If he's talking in the same lineup, I don't know that you need to do that, but I do like Morant. Edey, I'm okay with.
Okay. We'll go to Ray's question, Beer. Back to you again. McBride or Joe, straight up?
Oh, it's a tough one. I'm going to go Joe, but really like both of those guys tonight.
Okay. Let's talk about the Portland guys real quick, Noto. Test says Scoot is my favorite guy on Portland. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go with any of them. I'd probably go Simons if I had to choose one. But
yeah, Which one of them had just a ridiculous dunk the other night, like a week ago? I can't remember which one, but one of those kids can freaking fly. Williams or Joe Val? That's a good question. Jay Williams or Joe Val, Noto?
I mean, I need some context. I need who else is in that 2v2 because they're such different price points. But I mean, if you're playing small field stuff, take Jalen.
Yeah. All right. We've got about 4 minutes until lock. We've done a really good job on these questions. So bring them in. Let me know if you got any QQs. Drop them now or forever hold your peace. We've got Joe in the YouTube chat saying Beer, Barnes, or Fox?
They're putting me to the test here on my love. I'm going to go Barnes. Fox is the beast of the night, so I really love me some Fox, but I think Barnes is too cheap here with all the injuries. So both phenomenal plays. Playing both, slight edge of Barnes.
Yeah, it was Shaden Sharp, by the way, who just absolutely
hammered
on
that
someone.
Was the best dunk I've seen since probably Anthony Edwards, that one on the baseline.
Yeah, that was outrageous. Let's see, Beer, your favorite forward, it can be small forward or power forward on DK between 48 and 5,000. That is a very narrow range.
And I got a very narrow answer for him. Aaron Wiggins at 4,900 will split the difference.
I think he does this intentionally when there's an obvious answer. He forces you into the answer you wanted to say anyways. Let's see, Joe or Lawson Noto, FanDuel GPP at shooting guard.
Yeah, I keep saying Isaiah Joe. Can't change it now.
Yeah, all right. What else do we have? Jumping in here. Fox over Murray Noto. I do have Joval and DD in this lineup for what it's worth. Oh, DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, I like that. You get both sides of the game, and yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Any Trey Lyles love in a revenge narrative? DK Largefield.
Me?
Yeah, sure. Any Lyles?
I mean, what kind of revenge is he getting?
I couldn't tell you.
I mean, hasn't that guy played for like 9 teams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a vengeful man.
He projects for 19 minutes. I think there's much better value out there.
Pretty sure the Jazz drafted him over Booker.
Ouch.
Oof.
Great move.
Whoops. Whoopsies. What else do we have here? More questions coming in the YouTube chat here. Achilles says, hey, Beer, sorry if you already answered this, but Nurk or Orlando Robinson? It is a DK cash question.
In cash, I would probably go Robinson. I like Nurk better for the upside. So tournaments, I think there's a little bit more upside for Nurk, but Robinson probably a little safer. Both of those guys are risky for sure, but I think Robinson's role a little bit more secure with the injuries. So that's the route I'd go. Robinson and cash, Nurk for the upside in tournaments.
Okay. Beer Hall of Fame says, talk to me about Bol, our legend. Bol. Can we play Bol?
I don't think you need to tonight. He has been solid, but I just think he can save money. His price got up there a little bit, so I'm not calling him unplayable. It's just I don't know that it's the right slate for Bol.
Baby Wemby. Wemby, senior Wemby? I guess he's probably quite a bit older. Sharp or Beal?
Pretty close.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta figure out Bol's age. DK GPP Noto, Sharp or Beal?
I'll go Sharp. And also, Gino just get traded for a 3rd-round pick to the Raiders.
To the Raiders? All right. That makes sense.
So are the Seahawks going to roll with – didn't they get that Sam Howell? Didn't he go over there? Or they got to be drafting somebody?
No idea. Let's see. Doing pretty good here. Who's winning the home run title this year? Question from Anger. I don't follow baseball all that well, but Beer, do you have a gut reaction to who's winning the home run title?
I mean, my initial answer was Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
guy's just a monster. You can say Shohei. If you're looking for something deep, I'll give you Brent Rooker.
Oh, okay, that is deep. Noto, you got an answer for me?
Yeah, I was going to say Aaron Judge, Shohei, and Rooker.
Yeah, well, what do you know? There we go.
Oh, geez, man. Still in sync after all these years.
Still got it. Gentlemen, we have hit the lock. That is what we came here to do. Smash that like button for us if you liked the show. We are going to clear out. We're going to watch some hoops. So for Noto, for Beer, actually, Noto's going to unpack some boxes and move things. Beer's going to drink a few and watch some sports. I will probably do the same. But for Noto, for Beer, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.